What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. I apologize, my roommate is gaming next to me right now,
Let's go, Victory Royale.
so he might be a little distracting. But this week, I decided to stop slacking off and make some real progress on my game. So no more talking to beautiful women all day for me. So I cleared my schedule and I got to work. So the first thing I decided to work on this week came to me in a dream, and I'm actually not joking. So right now, placing down the paths feels really finicky, and it's really annoying to have to go back and place the exit after you've been placing the paths, especially if you forget which path is the last one, because you can only place the exit on the last path. So what if, and hear me out, whenever you place down a path, it spawns in the exit, and then every time you place another path, the exit is just moved to that next path's position. So I hopped out of bed, ate Biscuitville, and started implementing this idea immediately. And honestly, it helps so much. Not only does it make placing down the paths way more satisfying, but it has a weird side effect of making the customers spawn in as soon as you start placing down paths. So this sparked another idea. In most tower defense games, you already have the path placed down for you. But what if instead you have to build the path and the enemies start approaching as soon as you start building the path? So you have to place in the defenses at the start of the path to stall them. Honestly, I think that this would add in an element of quick decision making that is kind of lacking in other tower defense games. But also, not only is this a tower defense project of mine, it is also a scope creep project of mine. So I'll have to see if this idea will significantly impact the development timeline, because I don't want to be working on this until March if I can avoid it. So next, I wanted to work on the building placement UI. So right now, you can swap between which building you're about to place, which is nice, but it'd be even nicer if you could visualize that. So I basically created a system for spawning in previews of the building that you're about to place. So now whenever you select a building, a little translucent copy of it will follow your cursor around so you know what you're about to place and where. It also handily will turn red if your building isn't in a spawnable location. So hopefully the building placement system will feel a little bit more intuitive. Now that I have this preview system, I can also fix another problem that I've had of all the buildings being spawned in the same orientation. So with a little bit of black magic and a press of the R key, you can now rotate the building 90 degrees, which took shockingly more time than you would expect. I've been trying my best to avoid using ChatGPT during these early learning phases, which I think has made me a much better programmer, but there are times where I just want to know how to rotate a game object 90 degrees, and Unity somehow can't figure that out, and it takes all of my willpower to not just copy and paste my code into the magic problem remover. But anyways, after a lot of troubleshooting, the rotation system does work, and I also made the spawning conditions based off of the door that's on the building. So now you can only place in the building whenever it's facing the correct direction. So now you can place paths and buildings down, and if you ask me, this game's getting pretty dang fun. But what if you place the building in the wrong position and you want to undo your mistake? Well, say hello to my little friend, the bulldozer. Oh yeah, stuff just got real. Oh, okay, I'm gonna place down a little arcade machine and ooh, look at that cute little customer going to play in the arcade. Bam, they're dead. Yeah, I bet you didn't think this game was going there. I don't know, what can you say? I guess I just have a dark and twisted mind. Seriously though, this bulldozer mechanic took a few hours to implement, and sometimes whenever you bulldoze a building, then the customers like freeze up or they get left behind. So I was working on it a little bit more, and then I realized that there is no way to bulldoze the paths. So then
2 days later.
The trouble with bulldozing paths is that whenever you bulldoze one path, you also have to destroy all of the following paths, and there's an exit at the end, so you have to move that exit to the last path that still exists. And you also have to make sure that there aren't customers that are left behind or just hanging out with nowhere to go. So needless to say, I skipped a modern dance class for this one. But now I can bulldoze whatever the hell I want, unless I do this, and then I have to. But now it all works perfectly. Just kidding. I'm actually still working on bugs related to the bulldozer to this day, but the bugs have gotten more and more minor, so my attention has shifted to other larger problems with the game. Mainly that the pathfinding system is a total yard sale at this point. It was at this point in the week during one especially late night after a very stressful opera performance that I kind of started crashing out, because the pathfinding follower object that I have is really frustrating to work with, so I just deleted him entirely. But this caused all kinds of issues that took multiple days to figure out. I basically had this system where there's a pathfinding object that would move from node to node, and then there was a pathfinding follower that would catch up to it and make it move to the next node whenever it got to it. And actually, the pathfinding follower would generate a random target kind of near the pathfinding object, and then whenever it approached that target, then it would cause the pathfinder to move to the next node. And this was to give it sort of this crowd look. Well, what if instead the pathfinding object just created these randomized targets themselves, and then we can say bye-bye to the pathfinding follower? So okay, take a breath now. We got that over with. Now for something a little more fun. Getting that paper. I just wanted to start implementing the money system that's going to be the key driving force of the game. And obviously I'll have to add in a lot more detail in the future, but the basics were pretty easy to add in. So basically whenever a customer finishes a job, they'll add money to your wallet, which you can then spend at the shop to buy buildings or perks. No, not those ones. And other cool stuff. And for now, that's what I got done in a week of locking in. And if you had fun, consider liking and subscribing, because next week I'm gonna do some of this and a little of this and maybe even some of these. What? Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week.